We're back to explore the eastern half of Route 66 in Texas, starting in Amarillo and heading east to the Oklahoma border. You know, in the first part, there were a lot of interesting places. I really enjoyed that. Hopefully, we'll find a lot of the same in part 2. I'm going to go to probably some places you've heard of and maybe some places you haven't heard of. So let's go ahead and get on the road. So you can see the Highway 40, I-40 down there. Route 66 is paralleling that. So just down here, right, you can kind of see the line there. That's where the railroad used to go. And right down there was Yarnell. And I think it wasn't much more than a railroad stop, and obviously I don't know if anybody lives there or not. Might be abandoned, might be somebody lives there. But that was a railroad that would have gone along, generally along the path of Route 66. It didn't go right next to it, but pretty close. Conway traces its beginnings back to 1892, when the Lone Star School was said to be the first rural school that endured in the Panhandle. You can see the town in the bottom part of the screen. That's the old town, and then we'll kind of go check out the newer section, I guess you would say, up there by I-40. There used to be the Bug Ranch, which is similar to the Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, and they moved recently the Bug Ranch to Amarillo, so it's no longer there, but that's where it used to be. But back to the town. The school was established for area ranchers and homesteaders, and the post office opened in 1903. The arrival of the Chicago, Rock Island, and Gulf Railway in that year kind of spurred on the start of the town, where they named it in honor of former County Commissioner H.B. Conway. The town had an estimated population of about 125 in the 1930s and increased to a little bit more than that by 1960, but the post office was discontinued in 1976. You can see the school still stands. Obviously, that has not been in use for quite a while, and other than the elevators here, there's some old abandoned businesses and a few scattering homes in the area. Lark was platted at the time of the building of the railway line in 1903 and named for Lark Stangler, an area rancher. Post office was opened in 1909, but in 1915 the mail ended up going through Conway, which was the last town we were just in. They reestablished post office in 1925 until 1957, when the mail was then sent to the next town down the way, Groom. Improved transportation and the proximity of neighboring towns resulted in the decline of Lark. Groom was named for B.B. Groom, the first general manager of the Franklin White Deer Ranch. Town site was laid out on the railroad in 1902, and that same year the post office was also established. In 1911, Groom was first incorporated, had a population of around 250. It survived fires in 1912 and 1915 to grow as a shipping point for area ranching and agriculture, and the population continued to rise. The oil boom in 1920 certainly helped their cause. When you look at the population, you can see how it peaked in 1970 at 808 and has declined steadily now down to 552. Off into the distance, you can see the large cross. That is the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ Ministries. Erected this 190-foot tall cross, one of the largest and tallest in the Western Hemisphere. And besides the cross, there are several other things to see at this attraction. Boydston is our next unincorporated community. It was named after Henry Sanford Boydston, was the first settler in the area. Post office opened in 1891. 1903, the railroad built through the area and constructed a siding. By 1941, there was about 40 people here, and by 1980, the railroad ceased operations. Next on our tour is the ghost town of Jericho, and I previously did a video about Jericho, a separate video. So if you haven't watched that, you might want to stop and watch that video or watch it at the end of this video. Really cool place, great history, some great people that are living here and trying to revive Jericho. You can see I-40 way out there, and I'm on a side road that I thought might be the original Route 66, and came to a dead end here. It said Posted True Ranch. Down there at the bottom it says dead end, not Route 66. No camping. So I don't know if the original Route 66 was around here. It's a pretty drive back here if you ever get off at the exit and take a little detour. The other reason I was coming this way was because on my map it says Rockledge, And I think that was probably a railroad stop, like at the beginning of the day when we went to Yarnell. And there's a couple of those still along the way here. And I didn't know if, there'd be anything left, but I think the railroad went this way, and maybe the original Route 66 went this way too, so who knows. Alanreed started in the early 1880s when a group of farmers selected the site, which was on the stage line between Mobiti and Clarendon. At various times, the town was also named Springtown, Spring Tank for the large spring-fed tank in the area, Prairie Dog Town for one located nearby, and Gouge Eye for a saloon fight that happened here. The present town was laid out in 1900 by the railroad. The town's present name was derived from the name of the contracting firm Allen and Reed. 1902, the post office moved from nearby Eldridge and was named Alanreed. Rock Island completed in 1903. The town became a shipping point for cattle. In 1904, it was the largest town in Gray County. It made several unsuccessful bids to be the county seat. The oil boom of the 1920s led to a temporary increase in population, but it also shifted development to other towns in the area. Population was estimated at 500 in 1927, but by 1929, both the hotel and the bank in town had closed, and in the 1930s, the schools started to consolidate. McLean started in 1901 when the Choctaw, Oklahoma, and Texas Railroad Company dug a water well and built a switch and a section house here. Around this switch the following year, an area rancher laid out a town site. The town was named for Texas legislator and railroad commissioner William P. McLean and granted a post office in 1902. The town was incorporated in 1909 and soon became a center for area agriculture. 4 telegraph operators were required to handle the messages of the railroad businesses that was that busy at that time. In 1908 and in 1919, they made an unsuccessful bid to become the county seat. And then during the 1920s, the town profited from the oil boom, and you can see how the population really increased to 1,500 by 1930 and stayed steady there for a while, but then decreased almost every census thereafter and down to 665 today. couple miles south of Route 66, took the back roads. I think this is where Ramsdell was, and I think the railroad would have went right kind of in that direction, heading east. Could have been right over there or somewhere right around here. Would have been a railroad stop called Ramsdell. Now there's not too much, except for some ranches and some red dirt. Lela was originally called Story when it was established in 1902 as a station on the Chicago, Rock Island, and Gulf Railway. And in 1903, the Story Post Office was established. The postmaster was named Bedford Bowers, and he changed the town's name to Lela after his wife's sister, Lela Smith. In 1906, though, Lela had been supplanted as a trade center by nearby Shamrock, and by 1976, the post office was discontinued. Our final town we're going to check out is Shamrock, Texas. The name Shamrock was first suggested for good luck and courage by Irish immigrant sheep rancher George Nickel. Here's the famous gas station that, if you've seen the movie Cars, it's very recognizable. But back to how the town got started, George Nickel applied in 1890 to open a post office at his dugout home 6 miles north of here. The name was accepted by the postal officials, but the post office was never opened, probably because his home burned that same year. Officially, the town began in 1902 with the arrival of the railroad. Town lots were sold at the present town site, which was then called Wheeler. Frank Exum applied for a post office and named it after himself, but the railroad named the stop Shamrock in 1903, and that name stuck. By 1906, businesses from other communities had started to move to Shamrock, and it was incorporated in 1911. Oil was discovered in 1926, and the population quickly rose to nearly 4,000 people. The population today is less than 2,000, but still one of the largest towns in the area. We made it to the Oklahoma state line just before dark. I'm standing literally on the state line. This dirt road is the line. And Texola is the first town in Oklahoma. Obviously, Texas, Oklahoma, Texola. And I've done videos about Texola before. So if you're interested in like what's just over the line, there's a good video about Texola that I did a couple years ago. But we're pretty much out of light. It's beautiful East Texas Panhandle sunset tonight. And that was a fun day, a fun couple of days on Route 66. The first time I had done this years ago, 4 years ago actually, almost to the day. I really zipped through quick, and this was nice to stop and to explore the towns and to get to know the history a little bit better. And so I really enjoyed Route 66 through Texas. Hope you did as well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of that video. And now that you're here, let me tell you a little bit about some of the extras that we have on the channel. One of the things you can do is you can become a member. There's 3 levels. There's the supporter level, there's the producer level, and the executive producer level. And all 3 levels have different perks, and as you are more supportive financially, there's more perks. We have extra videos every week and a lot of fun stuff going on in the member section. If you haven't done so, make sure you check out travelwithawiseguy.com. We've got lots of extra stuff on there, and one of the things is merchandise. You can get you Travel with a Wise Guy t-shirt. We have Death Go Round t-shirts. We have some coffee mugs, different things that are a lot of fun, and people seem to have enjoyed. Good quality there. Also on the website, you can do things like check out the Google map. I have a pin dropped in every place I've done videos about, then a link to the video so you can look at the map, and maybe there's somewhere where you live or somewhere you want to go. You can check out that map, and it seemed to be a very popular thing. You can sign up for my newsletter. I do that about every 3 weeks. It's totally free. And there's also all kinds of other links and tidbits in there, old videos, podcasts, just everything I could think of I throw on the website. So make sure you check out travelwithawiseguy.com. Thank you for everyone who has been supportive of this channel, and thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. And now for the reason you're probably here, the outtakes. When in Rome. It's actually Thanksgiving. I'm filming this on today. Hi. Oh, okay. You got friends. Wow. How we doing, guys? How many dogs are there? McLean, Texas. It's pretty nice. Heavy. Very heavy, very sturdy, but that also takes away a little bit because it's so hard to spin, but pretty darn good. 8.5.